share a little something with you. And I draw this from S.J. Loveland, from his book, Mediumship, a course of 7 lectures. And we happen to have that in the back. And he writes that some claim the higher or wiser souls will prevent our being influenced by those less advanced. This may not be true. This may suggest that we have submitted to souls believed to be better than we. And this may prevent our developing independently. We may be better served by disadvantageous encounters than a continued state of dependency. And what he is suggesting here is that sometimes a medium is of the opinion that those souls that are communicating with them are on a higher plane. And they may not be on that higher plane. They may be right next to us, like the con man. And I'm sure we've encountered one of those at least once in our lifetime. I know I have 2 or 3 times. Hey, this is a great deal, da 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 da. And they follow what they say. And this is true because I've witnessed it. I've seen a medium stand up at the platform, at the lectern, and they're channeling this being. And this being is making demands. And that's not the way it works. These souls that we communicate with, they offer us guidance. They offer us insights. They offer us choice. They don't make demands upon us. In fact, it's often we who make demands upon them. After all, when we're opening ourselves up, we want to know that we're receiving something, right? So we just fling the doors open and say, please talk to me. So we make demands on them. They don't make demands on us. If you come across a soul or a spirit that is telling you to do something, question them first. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but I am saying that test them. If it doesn't make sense to you, chances are it doesn't make sense at all. So anyway, does that make sense to everybody? And I will say thank you for allowing me to share this with you. All right, so this is our seance or circle portion of our class. And before I begin, are there any questions?
I'm going to make a comment. Just lately, it's like everything is a tarot card. Every image that's coming up to my head is a tarot card. So someone's telling me it's time for class.
Okay. I'm still working on that. So, all right. Well, we will see what comes up. Typically, I focus on a question, but I've been so busy, I haven't focused on anything. I can feel them here, and when they move in, I feel them start from the back here and just kind of slide in. It's like you're putting on a coat. There are so many of you here. It is so nice to see so many. We're going to talk about this trance mediumship, which what they call it. They had a different word for it a long, long time ago. And at that time, they were called oracles. And the oracles did not just do the messages as you are accustomed to. The oracles spoke as we are speaking now. So this phenomenon, as it is called, is not something that is with the spiritualists. This phenomenon has been happening since the first person gazed into the dark night. Many of the religions partook with this. It is how religion developed. How would you explain something like this happening? You have no explanation but one. And that one is, I spoke with God. Or I spoke with Zeus. And if it was a woman, I spoke with Ishtar. This secret knowledge, as he puts it, has been coming through for ages. And it is always the same message. Most of the time. Some get caught up on this idea of one or the other, but it is not one or the other. That which operates behind us is of one. And because the only way we can understand, or for you to understand, is to take that one and split it apart. And when we split it apart, it is the opportunity for us to examine, not to say this part is better than this part, but to examine this part and to understand and to determine how the two, when they come together, operate. Do you understand what I am putting forth?
I do not.
In simpler terms, they say there is good and that there is evil. There is peace and that there is war. There is one or the other. There is Jew, there is Gentile. They have this idea of a separation. And do you know how that separation came to be? You take the whole and you break it apart. And you examine one, and then you examine the other. However, because you become so intent on the one, you forget about the other, and the one becomes your path. Do you understand now?
Yes, thank you.
And it is not that there is one path or the other path. It is not that there is war and there is peace. There is life. And life is about struggle, not suffering. The only time we suffer is when we choose to abandon ourselves. And when we abandon ourselves, we are stuck. We suffer. I am suffering because I have no water. But have you asked any of these passers-by for water. The only way to move beyond your suffering, and I said beyond, not escape. The only way to move beyond your suffering is for you to have the courage, to gather the courage and to want to move forward. The only thing that keeps us where we are at is what we cling to. Do you know that many people cling to suffering because it is advantageous to them? Many of those who suffer with the hand out, they are not suffering. They are thieves. They are stealing from those who are willing to give. Your teaching of kindness is something that many take advantage of. And they take advantage of it because they are self-deceiving. This should not stop you from being kind to them, but only be aware, because you do not want to deceive yourselves. Do you? Oh, we want to live. We want to experience life. And to experience life, we must fall down. We must get up. And we must fall down. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Do you understand? So I understand that a previous class you had was about the higher vibration. Am I correct in this?
Yes. Yes.
Good. I apologize for the other person. They're kind of forceful, and I know that troubles some people. But this was a very old one. But anyway, as we're moving forward, the idea with kindness, and I like the way the last one ended that with kindness. The reason we recommend kindness, because it is a good path to begin to move up into the different vibrations. Because as you begin to assist others, as you aid them, you begin to see life from their shoes, from their perspective. And as you learn more about their life, you learn more about your life. And you discover that the two are not as different as you may have thought. This is why we spiritualists tell you to be kind. The first rule is always be kind, because when you are kind, you learn about yourself. You learn about those around you. And that helps you to move up through the dimensions or the realms. Because you move through different dimensions, even here. As your perspective changes, you've moved from one dimension to another. And as that perspective changes, you move from that one to another. Do you know how easy it is to fall from a nice high vibration to a nice low vibration? You do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think you do, then you really have not figured it out. Because nature moves us along like the mother she is, moves us along. Oh, we fall down. Oh, let me help you up. Yes, we fall down. It feels like we fall backwards when we fall down, but we're not falling backwards. We're not falling backwards. Have you ever tried to forget a lesson? How difficult is that? Hmm? So once you move into this other dimension, once you move up to a higher frequency, you don't fall down to the lower frequency. Of course, now, if your perspective changes and you set about, instead of being kind to people, you start bullying people, well, of course. But the vibration hasn't changed, just your intention. You're still operating in a higher vibration. Although you may find that difficult to believe, you're still operating in a higher vibration. I believe the term here is career criminals. Do you know what that means?
One who makes their life doing nothing but crime.
No.
No?
No. That's not what that means. What is a career? It's your vocation, right? And you strive to be good at your vocation. We all strive to be good at our vocations. Even when we make our passage to the other side, we still want to increase our vocation, to become better at it. So they're a career criminal. They're operating at the same frequency as you are. Yeah, they're doing stuff that you call a crime, but they're focused on it. Their intention is there. And that's the idea with this. Be mindful of your intention, because your intention is what moves you in directions. You do know what the law of attraction is, yes?
Mm-hmm.
It is your intentions that attract you in directions. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good. Very good. Are there any questions? And now, with the lesson, I want to ask you, how did you feel when you received your message?
Good.
Good. Okay, just good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I felt it was right on.
Okay, how did you feel?
Better.
Better. Yes. That's your vibration going up. Your vibration going up. Now our vibrations, they rise and they flutter when we feel good. And, sometimes it's hard to keep it fluttering. The idea is not to keep it fluttering. The idea is to move into it. That fluttering allows you to experience what that vibration is. And then you move towards that vibration. And as you go through it, we call it magnetism. As you go through these magnetic changes, your thinking changes, what you say changes, how you feel changes. Now, don't mistake your melancholy as going down the tree, because you're not going down the tree. You are taking a break, and sometimes we need a break. Does that make sense to all of you?
Yes.
Very good. Now, are there any questions? Because there are a lot of you, and this one is reaching a point to where he has to take a break, and he likes to talk to you. So, any questions here? thank you very much. It has been a privilege to speak to you, and keep at it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what are your thoughts?
Every Sunday is incredible with you guys.
Oh,
I'm speechless. Every single day I leave, I go walk by the river because I'm just like in awe.
I just find it interesting. I watch a lot of different people channeling. And I think what I find quite fascinating, the idea that the sun's somehow a collective coming through, like the lore of one.
I thought it was very powerful and very insightful.
I think this has been a really eye-opening experience for me. I will say, I hope it's okay for me to say, I just learned about the foundations of spiritualism and the Fox sisters in school, which led me to learn more about the church. And I felt like it was just a real good fit for me.